Okay, welcome. Thank you for clicking on. Today we're going to have a look at some of my car boot sale finds. Got some really nice little pieces that have come in very cheap from car boot sale. And today I'm going to actually share with you what I've paid for them. Haven't done that for a little bit. So we got some nice collectible pieces. So should we dive in and take a little look? Be good inspiration if you're out and about in charity shops or car boot sales. So we will start off with a mid-century modern Poole teardrop shape, if you like, dish. It's in the Delphis pattern. Now, if you're buying Poole pottery, the pattern you want to look for is the bright oranges. They love this type of colour, this Delphis pattern. Now, that is not a chip. That is just a bit where the paint didn't take. It's got the Poole mark here and the artist mark up here. And the artist, did I find the artist? I'm sure I looked. No, I don't think I did. Anyway, really nice bit of Poole pottery. I wouldn't have bought it if it'd been any other colour. Paid a £5 for it. I'm asking 30, so it's good profit. And as I say, that's not a chip. That's a little bit where the paint didn't take. This I bought off a couple of fellow dealers, some friends, and I got to be honest, when I bought it, I was really unsure. It is a torso of Venus, or a bust on marble base. It is a signed one, Gianelli, and it's produced in alabaster. Now, if you look at it, spectacular, looks very classical. But when you turn it around, well, there's the signature for starters. When you turn it around and look at the back, have I done one? I was very unsure. If you look up here, you can see the hair and everything. And I was unsure originally when I purchased it if the head was meant to be on there because they had the hair. However, and look at the moulding, she's beautifully cast. I have looked, and this was how she was made. With the hair coming down the back, it's supposed to be, that is exactly how they were made. And this is a big piece, it's about 6 kilos, very large piece, beautiful modelling, and she is a beautiful lady. Beautiful form, and as I say, A. Gianelli signed there. Now, I only paid £15 for this, but I was unsure at the time if it had been broken. And I'm asking 75. However, when I was doing the research to find out if the head had been off or not, I found one or two up for sale for £150 to £250. So 75 is a very fair price. This was gorgeous. We got a sterling silver pendant with an agate cabochon or agate stone. Now, I walked past this was on a dealer's table. I walked past it on my first run round because obviously you're looking for the cheap items, the really good gems. And then when I come back, I had a really good look at it. And it's a lot better than you'd think. That beautiful, look at the veining in that marble, in that agate. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's set in sterling silver. There's the 925 stamper there. But it's a really nice thing. I paid a tenner for it. And I really loved it. As soon as you had it in your hand, and it's a good size. I think it's about 40 mil. So it's a good size. 65 mil, even bigger. So once you had it in your hand and you started feeling the quality, the weight, the size of it, everything, a £10 was for nothing. So, and I do like jewellery. I just had a massive haul of jewellery. Can you believe? I was selling in Gatligay on car boot sale on the weekend. And as I'm packing up, a woman comes over to me off a stall that I'd already missed because she came in after I finished walking around and says, "Do you buy silver?" And brought me over a big box full of solid silver jewellery to buy off her. I offered her £100 and I bought it. Some beautiful pieces. Now, this is... I've gone 2 years and not found a piece of Whitefriars, and I've had 3 or 4 in the last couple of weeks for 50p a piece. And this is another one, 50p. It is a bark vase by Geoffrey Baxter. It's I'm not sure if this is the finger vase. I think this is the next one up from the finger vase. But bark finish by Geoffrey Baxter for Whitefriars. It's got a tiny nibble, but there you can see really tiny, but 50p. What can you say? For a bit of Whitefriars, 50p. I'm asking 45, even with that tiny nick. Honestly, that nick isn't a millimetre. It looks big on the photograph, but it is not even 1mm. It's tiny. But I'm so descriptive with my images and my description. I make sure there's no reason for them to send it back. They know exactly what they're getting. It is no point in hiding a bit of damage and arguing with the buyer. If they're not happy, send it back. So I make sure everything is up front, so they know exactly what they're getting. Now, this is model number 9729, and it was introduced in 1974 as part of their textured range. Everything's there, all in the description, all the details. What I do when I'm doing the descriptions is I make sure they're done for SEO, search engine optimization. I make sure I ram as many keywords and search terms in the descriptions and title as I can. Now, this is gorgeous. This is an explosive box made of canvas. So it's early 20th century, and it would have its explosives in it down the coal mine. Now, this is the last piece I bought before I almost got banned out of a boot sale. I'll talk about that in just a moment. In fact, when you go to car boot sale, some of them will allow you to walk around and buy. Others will say no buying until the public come in. Now, the problem with that is, yeah, it's great because it allows people to set up. But if you're selling there, you can't leave your stall, which means you ain't allowed to look around. Because the minute the public come in, if you leave your stall, they're stealing off you. And you'll come back to your stall and it'll be half empty. So the only chance you get to have a little walk around is once you've set up, you might have 10, 20 minutes. Just have a little stroll around before the public come in. I don't see the harm in it. I really don't. At the end of the day, the public pay they stand in the queue, they pay £1 to come in, they rush in, they run around, they grab what they can, and they're off to the next car boot sale. As a seller, I was selling in the car boot sale for 3 days a week, so there's £30 a week straight away before you start, right? And that was every week, and even on bank holidays, I do that. And I used to have a £15 pitch, but I dropped it down. So they get their £30 a week off me. I was buying teas and burgers at the burger van, and I was buying off other stall holders. So they valued £1 or £2 off a couple of sellers who moaned about me walking round versus the £30 a week they were having off me for a stall versus the £20-30 a week I was spending at the burger van and the other stuff I was buying off the stall holders, because if I'm in there selling, I can't no longer walk around buying. So they were probably losing a couple of £100 a week off me just to have 1 or 2 happy sellers who were giving them £1, not supporting the boot sale and running away. Anyway, I bought this container, and then the stall holder come up to me and wiped the floor with me in front of all the people in the queue, and that was the last time I went there selling. I haven't been back. That was about 3 weeks ago, something like that. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful coal mining explosive container. Good size on it. It's canvas lined. That disc there probably would have had a coal mine or a number on there, but it's worn off, corroded off. So there you go. It could have been military, but I'm pretty confident it's from the coal mine. Really nice thing. Anyway, it cost me £2, and I'm asking 100. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to achieve 100. It just means that's my base price. A lot of the times people message me and say, will you take a bit less? Will you take this? And will you take that? And sometimes I do. But for £2, it was an absolute Bobby Dazzler. It really was. And it's 11 inches tall by almost 9 inches in diameter, so it's a good size. This was absolutely wonderful. Picked this up probably about a month ago now. I was up in a car boot sale in Crickhowell, up in South Wales. Anyway, I'd purchased a couple of signs off the gentleman, a big enamel sign and a galvanised aluminium sign, if you like, or an big, thick aluminium sign for Brecon Forest. Anyway, he had this on the stall, and he gave it to me for £1. And it's sort of folk art, if you like. It's made purely of bottle tops and wire. And every bottle top is advertising a different brewery. Now, I don't know if somebody's made it or if it was made by some company. I don't know. I've seen 1 or 2 of them about, but not many. And looking at the quality, it does suggest that it's been sort of handmade. But it was £1. And I thought anybody would love that in a home bar, in a man cave, keep some knickknacks in there. What a really nice, interesting desktop item to put some bits in. And for £1, it was for nothing. I'm only asking £25 on it, right? But these bottle tops are all, as I say, all advertising. And if you wanted that in a man cave, that would fit the part perfectly, wouldn't it? I had this off some friends again. I think I paid either £20 or £25 for this one. I think it might have been 25. We have an enamel-on-copper panel. Now, this is Irish. It's Celtic art, and it's formed a Celtic cross. But all this enameling is on copperware, and it's very symbolism. Now, it is signed on the back. You got fish there, people there, swirls. It's a really interesting thing. I haven't been able to find out who made it, even though it's signed. There you go. Celtic cross, designed and made by Dr. It's in the description anyway, what I think that reads. And there's a monogram there. I bought it on its decorative merits. What does this say here? It should say, right. Signed by Dr. M. Island, Animo Co. Wicklow. So it's a rare Irish studio maker. So that's where it's signed anyway. But really, really nice thing. I've chucked 95 on it, and I think it should do that no problem at all. There ain't another one out there, and it's a bit of... It's not studio pottery, but it's studio art. This one I absolutely adore again. Bought from Whitefriars, this one. Another South Wales boot sale. Now, it's very mid-century, Scandinavian in style, but I don't believe it is Scandinavian. I think it's probably Japanese or something like that, but it has an amazing look to it. The colour is a beautiful bright burnt orange. Look at that shape. Really, really good shape, and there's a good size on it too. There you go. I always put a comparison, if something's really big, I always put a comparison image to show the size, and there is next to a standard Pepsi can. It's a really good thing. I paid £5 for it, and I'm asking 65. What have I said? I've actually put down likely Swedish or Finnish in origin, but it also could be Japanese. It could be one of many. But it's a really good looking thing. It's a Scandinavian in style. This one I had off Kieran from Taliesin Antiques. He was selling at the car boot sale where I had the row. In fact, he was walking around with me, and they didn't give him a row. They just gave me a row. They singled me out. And then I had friends who were at the boot sale buying the following days, and they were watching other people walk around, nothing being said. So I was singled out, I was. But anyway, this is a early 20th century Doulton Lambeth stoneware vase. Beautiful thing, Art Nouveau style. Really good size on it too. The downside with this one, it has been drilled. There you go. They've done a lot of this in the 20s and 30s, which was they drilled them and made them into lamps. Now, Kieran was selling this one. You could see there signed. Royal Doulton stamp there, or impressed mark there, and that by your MB is the artist mark, which I have looked up. Now, Kieran was selling this one at a car boot sale, and he only charged £5 for it. In fact, there was a member of public picked it up before me, and he said, "Oh, you can have it for £5." They turned it around, they saw that it had been drilled, and they put it back down and walked away. I said, "Do you know what? At £5, I'm going to have that. That's a wonderful piece of artwork." Who was it by? Bear with me. Maud Baldwin. From 1903 to 1937. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, worst case scenario, I'd turn that back into a lamp. But it really is a good looking piece of Doulton Lambeth. Big piece, 12 inches, is it? 10 inches tall. So that is a really nice bit of Doulton Lambeth, and I've put 85 on there. Now, Kieran does have some really interesting things. Nip across to his site and have a look. TaliesinAntiques.com. and tell him I sent you. Okay. Finally, for this video, we have a cast iron picture frame. This one is Art Nouveau, designed by Beatrice. Now, Beatrice is the maker, and it's got a floral motif and this sort of figural on top. Now, it needs glass, it needs a backboard. But other than that, it's in good condition. Interesting thing, there you go. There's a pattern number, and there's the maker's mark, Beatrice. So really nice, interesting picture frame, photo frame. You could even turn it into a mirror if that's what you wanted. It wouldn't make any difference, and it'd make a nice mirror. And that came in for a £5 again, and I'm asking 65 on that. Now that's just 10 examples of some of the car boot sale finds I've had over the last few weeks. There's thousands and thousands of pieces on the website, AntiquesArena.com. And if you're interested in learning how to become a reseller and how to become an antique dealer, first of all, I've published 2 books on Amazon. You'll find them on Amazon. Everything I know on basically being a reseller and buying gold and silver on a budget. There's links to them in my website, AntiquesArena.com. Also, I've just started a Patreon and YouTube membership. Now, they're optional. You still get all my YouTube videos for free, but if you want to learn how to be an antique dealer in depth, you want real in-depth pieces, you really want real in-depth videos on how to identify stuff, things like that, and the tips, the secrets, and things I do to find the pieces, then please consider subscribing or supporting us on Patreon or membership. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.